You ever have someone in your life who just doesn't like you? You didn't do anything to them. You barely even know them, but you can feel it. They're cold, distant, and it messes with your head. Did I say something? Did I do something wrong? What's their problem? Here's what everyone tells you. Just ignore it. Be extra kind to them. Eventually they'll warm up. But that's not how this works. Because when someone hates you for no reason, there is a reason. It's just not about you. And these people, they all act the same way, same patterns, same behaviors. I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. 5 specific things they do. So next time you spot it, you'll know exactly what's happening and why. When someone dislikes you for no reason, your brain wants to find the reason. You start replaying conversations, analyzing your behavior, trying to figure out what you did wrong. But here's the thing. You didn't do anything wrong. The reason they don't like you has nothing to do with your actions. It has everything to do with what you represent to them. Maybe you're confident and it reminds them they're not. Maybe you're happy and it highlights their misery. Maybe you're successful and it triggers their insecurity. Whatever it is, it's about them, not you. And when people feel threatened like that, they follow a pattern. They all behave in similar ways. Once you know what to look for, you'll spot it immediately, and you'll stop taking it personally, because it's not personal, even though it feels like it is. Let me break down the 5 behaviors people show when they hate you for no reason. Number 1, they're friendly with everyone except you. First thing to notice, and this is usually the clearest sign, they're warm with other people, laughing, joking, making conversation. Then you show up and suddenly, ice cold. The smile disappears. The energy shifts. They get quiet or they leave. And you're standing there like, what just happened? This is selective hostility. They're showing you that it's specifically you they have a problem with, not social anxiety, not a bad mood, you. Why do they do this? Because being friendly with you would mean accepting you, and they don't want to do that. Their brain sees you as a threat, so it creates distance, on purpose. And the contrast, the fact that they're warm with others but cold with you, that's intentional. They want you to notice. They want you to feel excluded. It's a power move, a way to make you feel small without saying a word. When you see this pattern, don't chase their approval. Don't try to win them over. Just recognize it. They're showing their hand. And it's not about you being unlikable. It's about them being threatened. Number 2, they avoid eye contact with you. This one's subtle, but it's everywhere. When you talk to them, they look away. Look at their phone. Look at anything except you. When you're in a group, they make eye contact with everyone else. But when it's your turn to speak, their eyes are somewhere else. This is deliberate avoidance. Eye contact creates connection. It signals respect. It says, I see you. I'm listening. When someone refuses to give you eye contact, they're refusing to give you that respect. They're treating you like you're not worth their attention. And here's the psychology behind it. Looking at you would mean acknowledging you as an equal, as someone who matters. And they don't want to do that. Because in their mind, you're competition, you're a threat. So they avoid eye contact to avoid validating your existence. It sounds extreme, but that's literally what's happening on a subconscious level. When you notice someone consistently avoiding eye contact with you, but not with others, that's a red flag. They're signaling their dislike without having to say it out loud. Number 3, they dismiss your ideas or contributions. This happens a lot in work or group settings. You share an idea, they ignore it, don't respond, act like you didn't say anything. Then 5 minutes later, someone else says basically the same thing, and suddenly they're all over it. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Let's do that. And you're sitting there like, I literally just said that. This is called social invalidation. They're refusing to acknowledge your contributions, your value, your presence. Why? Because acknowledging you would give you social credit, and they don't want you to have that. In their mind, if they can make you seem irrelevant, then you become irrelevant. So they ignore your ideas, talk over you, act like what you said doesn't matter, even when it's a good idea, even when they know it's valuable. Because it's not about the idea. It's about making sure you don't get credit for it. I've seen this happen so many times. You could solve the biggest problem in the room, but if it comes from you, they won't acknowledge it. They'll wait for someone else to say it, or they'll repackage your idea as their own, or they'll just move on like nothing was said. And the frustrating part is, other people might not even notice. Because it's subtle, but you notice, you feel it every single time. When this happens repeatedly with the same person, it's not coincidence, it's intentional. They're trying to diminish your influence, your importance, your worth in that space. And the worst part is it can make you doubt yourself. You start thinking, maybe my ideas aren't that good, maybe I'm not contributing enough. But that's exactly what they want you to think. Don't let it get to you. Their dismissal doesn't define your value. Number 4. They talk about you when you're not around. You usually find out about this one from other people. They talk about you behind your back. Nothing terrible. Just enough to plant seeds of doubt. Yeah, I don't know. They seem nice, but something feels off about them. They try so hard, don't they? It's kind of much. I mean, good for them, I guess. But I wouldn't trust it. Subtle digs, vague criticisms, just enough to make other people question you. This is reputation sabotage. They can't attack you directly because they don't have a real reason, so they attack your reputation instead. They plant little doubts in other people's minds, make you seem suspicious or fake or try hard. Why? Because if they can turn other people against you, they don't have to deal with the threat you pose alone. It's a social strategy. Isolate the threat. Make others see them the way you see them. And the sneaky part, when you confront them, they act innocent. What? I never said that. You must have misunderstood. Or they'll twist it. I was actually defending you. I said you seem nice. But they leave out the part where they followed it up with, but something feels off. The thing about this behavior is, it's really hard to prove. Because it's all hearsay. You hear from someone that they said something, but you can't point to concrete evidence. And that's exactly why they do it this way. It's safe for them, low risk. They get to damage your reputation without taking responsibility for it. When you hear that someone's been talking about you behind your back, and it's always negative or dismissive, that's a pattern. They're trying to control how others see you because they can't control how they feel about you. And usually, the people who matter will see through it, but it still stings when you find out. Number 5, they get visibly uncomfortable when you succeed. Last one, and this is the most telling. You get a promotion, you hit a goal, you share good news. And while everyone else is congratulating you, they're quiet, stiff, uncomfortable. They might give you a forced congrats, but you can feel the lack of sincerity. Their face says it all. They're not happy for you. They're bothered. This is called success resentment. Your success reminds them of their lack of success. Your happiness highlights their unhappiness. And instead of being inspired or happy for you, they feel worse about themselves. So they can't celebrate with you, because your win feels like their loss. Even though it's not. Your success has nothing to do with their failure, but in their mind, it's connected. It's like they see life as a competition, and when you win, they think they're losing. So every good thing that happens to you feels like a bad thing happening to them. You'll notice this in their body language, the tight smile, the quick subject change, the way they suddenly need to leave the conversation. Or they'll downplay your achievement. Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's not that hard to get promoted there, right? They have to minimize it. Because if they acknowledge how big it is, they have to face how far behind they are. This is the clearest sign that their dislike has nothing to do with you. If they were mad about something you did, your success wouldn't affect them. But if they're threatened by who you are, your success makes that threat bigger. So they resent it. They can't hide it, even when they try. When someone consistently reacts negatively to your good news, that's not about you being arrogant or showing off. That's about them struggling with their own insecurity. And honestly, it's kind of sad when you think about it, because they're so stuck in their own head that they can't even be happy for someone else. Now let me tell you why people do all of this. It comes down to one thing: insecurity. When someone is secure in themselves, your presence doesn't threaten them. You can be confident, successful, happy, whatever, doesn't matter. They're good with who they are. But when someone is insecure, you become a mirror. Everything you are that they're not gets reflected back at them, and they hate looking at that reflection. So they hate you instead. Not because of what you did, because of what you remind them of. Their own fears, their own failures, their own unhappiness. And instead of dealing with that internally, they project it onto you. They make you the problem, because that's easier than facing the real problem, which is inside them. Think about it like this. If someone is truly happy with their life, they don't have the energy or desire to hate on others. They're too busy living their own life, building their own success, enjoying their own relationships. But when someone is unhappy, insecure, or struggling, other people's success becomes painful to watch. It's a constant reminder of what they don't have, what they haven't achieved, what they're not, and that's why you can't fix this by being nicer, by trying harder, by proving yourself, because it's not about you. It never was. You could be the nicest, most helpful, most genuine person in the world, and they'd still find a reason to dislike you, because the real issue isn't your behavior, it's their internal struggle. And until they deal with that, nothing you do will change how they treat you. So what do you do when you recognize these patterns in someone? First, stop trying to win them over. You can't logic someone out of an emotional position. Their dislike isn't rational. So, rational solutions won't work. Being extra nice won't help. Proving your worth won't help. Confronting them definitely won't help. Just accept that this person doesn't like you, and that's okay. Not everyone has to like you, especially when their dislike says more about them than it does about you. Second, don't take it personally. I know that's easier said than done, but remember what's actually happening here. They're not reacting to you. They're reacting to their own insecurity. You're just the trigger, not the cause. When you internalize that, their behavior stops having power over you. Third, keep being yourself. Don't shrink to make them comfortable. Don't dim your light because it bothers them. Keep succeeding. Keep being confident. Keep showing up as you are. Because the moment you change yourself to appease their insecurity, you lose. And they still won't like you anyway. So why bother? Just be you. Let them be uncomfortable. That's their issue to deal with, not yours. When someone hates you for no reason, look for these 5 behaviors. They're friendly with everyone except you. They avoid eye contact. They dismiss what you say. They talk behind your back. They resent your success. When you see these patterns, you'll know exactly what's happening. It's not about you. It's about their insecurity. And once you see it clearly, it stops messing with your head. You stop questioning yourself. Stop trying to fix something that isn't broken. You just recognize the pattern and move on. And remember, when someone hates you for no reason, give them no reason to think you care. Catch you next time.